All right, guys, we're going to be making some beef stew soup. Let's get started. First, I have my pack of beef stew. It's not a big pack, just a few little bit. So we're going to rinse that off and get it patted down dry. Make sure you get that paper out of there. All right, so here we're going to get her wet down, rinsed off. Then I'll pat it dry to make sure we have all the excess water off. And here are my seasonings. That's my stew. We have quite a few seasonings we're going to use on this. So we have our garlic powder. We have our complete seasoning, onion powder, Larry seasoned salt, Kinder, some bouillon, garlic, minced garlic, black pepper, adobo. Have some celery, onions, and all of our mixed vegetables we're going to be adding to this. And I'm going to actually add some bow tie noodles and some beef broth. Don't get the spicy one unless you want it spicy. I got the spicy by mistake. So here I'm massaging my meat. We're going to put some Worcestershire sauce on it, put it to the side, and let it sit a little bit while we get everything else prepared. Make sure you massage that meat. Get it massaged down. So I do like to add flour to mine. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And that just helps when we get ready to sear it. It has something to kind of thinking about our juice in our soup a little bit. So that's an option that you can or cannot do. You don't have to do that option. I choose to add a little flour to mine. And so we're going to get that flour massaged in and put it to the side and let it sit as well. Now over on the stove, we're going to add some canola oil to a pot. Let that oil get hot, and then we're going to put our meat in and get it seared. Once that meat is seared, we can start layering everything. So when you're putting your meat in the pot, you want to make sure that you do not overcrowd the pan. You don't want to overlap your meat. So one layer on the bottom. If you got more meat, then you take that meat out and add you another layer of meat. So making sure you do not overcrowd your pot when you're searing your beef for your soup. All right, we're going to get that seared on both sides. Then we're going to remove that meat from our pot once we get it seared on both sides. And you can sear it like as much as you like or as less as you like. I didn't sear this that dark, so I'm actually going to take it out, let it rest a few minutes, and let that oil drain off and remove the excess oil out of the pot because I don't want too much oil when I make that soup. So here I am removing my beef stew from the pot. And again, I'm pouring some of that oil off because I do not want it to be too oily. Now all those drippings, they're going to be a part of that soup. So as you put your liquid in, all of that will come up off the bottom. So here I'm putting my onions and celery in, and we're going to get that translucent. Once it becomes translucent, we'll add a little bit of minced garlic to that and let it get fragrant for. And then we'll start layering our soup. Putting a little bit more oil. And you can always add more back into the pot instead of having it all in the pot at one time. Here I'm adding some minced garlic. We're going to let that cook a few minutes and then begin to add our broth. Here I'm adding my broth in. I have some beef bone broth. And I have the chicken broth. Chicken bone broth as well that we add into the pot. And then I'm going to add my meat back into that pot and let it boil a little bit because I do want my meat tender. So any vegetables that take a little bit longer time to cook, like potatoes, we are adding potatoes to it. So I've already peeled and cut up my potatoes. We're going to add the meat back in, let that cook down until it gets as tender as I like it. And then I will add my potatoes to the pot as well. And we're going to bring all of that to a boil, making sure you have enough juice. I'm going to add also a half a can of tomato paste and a can of diced tomatoes. Tomatoes is an option. You can add that to your soup as well, or you don't have to. If you want more of a red based soup, I say add the tomato. All right, again, if you want more of a red based tomato soup, I say add the tomatoes paste and the crushed tomatoes. So I've already added those to the pot. I also added in my potatoes. If it's been boiling a little bit, so what we're gonna do now is there's the can of tomato sauce that I added, and then those are the diced tomatoes that I added. A half a can of the sauce, the paste, and then that's the bouillon that I added. That's to give it flavor. So you want to make sure you kind of taste it and see what you need to add to it, or if you need to not add anything. Here are my vegetables. These doesn't take that long, so we're gonna add these to the pot. But I'm gonna actually season them with the buttery garlic and herb by Kinder's. We're gonna season those down before we even put them in the pot and get them all seasoned up well. Season that corn. I have the mixed vegetables. I have broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and we also have peas and green beans. I'm also going to add the bow tie noodles to it, which is about a half a cup. It wasn't that many, so you can boil them first, but a little bit of starch in this soup does not hurt, so I just added them directly into the pot and let them boil into my soup. If you ever seen my recipe with the one pot spaghetti, we do the same thing pretty much with the lasagna noodles, not spaghetti, the lasagna, one pot lasagna. You do the same thing, put your noodles in the pot and let it boil. So it's okay to boil those noodles in there with your soup. But again, you can boil them on the outside and then add them to your soup. All right, here I have my potatoes as soft as I like, so we're gonna go ahead and add those vegetables. Again, your soup is pretty much done. This was pretty much an easy, quick soup that I made, and nice and hearty and healthy. And I just made a grilled cheese sandwich on the side. It was a lovely soup. You can freeze this soup, always heat it up for another time. It's a good meal prep that you can do, and freeze half of it. So again, this was a great soup, beef stew, vegetable soup. You want to try it, you like it, great recipe. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try this. And if you try it, come back and let me know you try it.